Hey YouTube, so I'm not going to do, well, I'll just go ahead and do this. Sorry, I was going to say I'm not going to do a full review, but I may as well whilst I'm doing it. This is Arkillo from DC Direct, the Blackest Night series. I generally don't do reviews of guys. There are a lot of reviews out there, but there is a purpose to this review other than just a look at this guy. He's a really nice guy. The paint job on him is really nice. He was the first DC Direct figure that I bought, other than the Watchmen stuff that I have. Whatever, pap, to be honest. So this is the first proper DC Direct stuff that I've got. I have got a few more of the Blackest Night stuff, but I wanted to take a look at this guy because I really like the Yellow Lantern Corps. I like Green Lantern. I like having little armies, I guess, of figures. Like the Buck Rogers, I have quite a few of the Toad Troopers. I like armies, so it's nice to be able to build an army that's varied and they've all got the same costume, like with the Green Lanterns. But one of the things I wondered with the videos I looked, because also you got this Arkillo, and then you've got the Collect and Connect Arkillo from the DC Classics, or DC Universe Green Lantern Classics Wave 1, I think is how it works out. And they look quite different, but I wasn't sure how different. There are a couple of videos that do show the differences, but I wanted to give you guys a good close look at how different they are. I know there aren't two figures that look, or two characters in the comic that look this much alike, but if you're building your Sinestro army, you can easily buy these two figures and they don't look like the same first person at all. Maybe the same species, but not the same individual. Let's give you guys a look at this guy. It comes with his base, which is nice. I have that displayed in front of them. I don't stand him on it. It doesn't need to stand on it. He's got big enough feet that he can stand quite happily on his own in any sort of poses you want to get him in. His face has got a really nice sculpt, as you would expect. You see he's got black eyes, and his nose is right there, and his top tusks are very big compared to his bottom ones. The reason I'm pointing this out is because this is a difference with the face sculpt to the other one. It's nice that you've got the bit of skin there, and right at the back, it probably won't pick it up. I don't think I'm going to get that. Right at the back of his mouth, there is a little hole which looks like his tongue, which was pulled out by Mongol. It looks like it might fit back in there, but it doesn't, and if it did, then his tongue would be sticking out of his mouth in like a Venom-esque kind of look, and it would, I mean, I'll show you, it wouldn't look good. His tongue would be hanging out and it doesn't suit him. But yeah, it's nice that they've got where his tongue would be in the back of there. But the detail is really nice. The teeth are sculpted nicely, the skin, it's all sculpted very nicely. And then obviously you've got his tongue on a rope, which he wears in shame. The paint on this, I think, is my favourite thing. Articulation is obviously limited because it's DC Direct, much like the Marvel Select stuff. The sculpts are better, but the articulation is worse. But the metallic yellow they've got on this guy is really nice. It kind of makes the DC Universe stuff look a bit rubbish. So it's a shame this paint didn't go with all of them. But there we go. Very nice paint job. I've got a couple of marks on mine, so if you're going to pick this one up from a store, I would really have a look to make sure. I mean, I think in the box he was posed like that, so when I opened him up and that popped out, it's got the yellow paint run off of there. So have a good look if you're buying them in store. Obviously if you're buying it on eBay, then you won't be able to do that. You got the pegs painted over and that's a bit sloppy, but there's just a few minor bits really. Articulation for this guy, you get a 360 on his head. It is on a ball joint, so you can get it up and down. Not much, but enough. His arms, you can get a full 360. That's about as high as you can get them. But you can get if you get it right, you can get his hands in a nice pose. Got his ring on this finger on his right hand, and it's just a plain ring. There's no detail on there, unfortunately. And these are just painted on. They're not sculpted on or anything. But it looks good. Anyway, then you've got an elbow joint. It's quite a good range really, all the way out, make it completely straight, which is nice. And then up to about there. So on his arms you've got enough really, and you can get his wrist twist. So I've got no complaints about the articulation on his arms, to be honest. It's more, well, it's enough for what you'd need with him. No waist articulation. They've kind of got him in a stepping towards you stance. I think I haven't got the DC Direct Kilowog, but I think it's exactly the same body. They haven't touched up this or anything, so I think it's just Kilowog's body. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then leg articulation, you got to about there, and then right the way back as well. He doesn't have any big butt cheeks stopping him. And then on the knee, very tight, but sort of you can get a 90-degree angle there, which is good. And then his feet pivot back and forwards, no side to side on the ankle. And that's about all there is really, articulation wise. But it's a nice figure, he's a very nice figure. I'd definitely say to pick him up. Scale wise, I'm not sure everybody has got this guy. So he's a nice size, he's bigger than the DCU standard sizes. Then if you want to put him next to... no, he's not going to stand up. If you put him next to another Blackest Night figure series, then he's not quite as big, because they are obviously to a bigger scale. So in my opinion he works better scale wise with the regular DC Universe guys, because with the Blackest Night scale he's not that much bigger really, and comparing him to the Mongol of this series he's tiny. Now on to the Green Lantern Arkillo. I haven't completed him yet. He looks complete, but he's not. I've got this leg coming from America and this arm coming from an eBay seller in the UK, and the other leg I still have to buy. I've already got Carl Rayner at the back there, so I have to buy him again. But I'll give you guys a look at how different the faces are. I mean they're completely different. On this guy his eyes are set to the side, and on this they're forward facing. He's got an actual nose. It looks a bit like a gorilla really, but he's got an actual nose at the front, whereas here he's just got two big holes for nostrils, no real nose. And then his teeth are completely different. Big tusks on the bottom, little ones on the top, and obviously he's got a tongue, he doesn't have a tongue, and he's much bigger obviously. I mean when he's fully done he should stand about that tall, I think. Is that about right? Yeah, probably about that tall. Maybe a little bit bigger even. So you can easily have the two of these guys in your Sinestro army, and it won't matter. The bits on here are sculpted rather than just paint naps, and then on his right hand this time there's no ring. It comes on this hand. So these figures are pretty much completely different. I know they're the same character, but they are completely different. And whilst this uses Kilowog's body, they've filled in his skin at the top, so it looks more like a different. Did you see it up there? More like a different.